We're back with Howie Mandel and life strategist Gary Coxe talking about phobias. You know, one of the things, you're very public and open talking about your OCD, and I applaud you for that. And I think what's really cool...
Well, I shouldn't be applauded for that. Here's my, and I know this is not what this is about, but I don't think anybody should go through life without, and you're an example of this, somebody who can give you a coping skill. And whether that coping skill is for OCD, or whether it's getting through, you know, a work day and being more productive, or whether it's depressed because you've been diagnosed with something traumatic. Somebody walks into a room and tells you you have cancer, there's nobody there that says, this is how you need to cope with it. Even if it's just a breathing exercise, even if it's just a thought process. And the fact that that is so negated from our insurance system, from our medical system, it's amazing. We'll go get an x-ray to see if we have a cavity.
Huge point.
But everybody, this would be a much more productive world.
Should have tools.
And all this stuff that is happening in our world, that is the answer.
Yeah.
It really is the answer. When these people walk in with guns and they're shooting up schools, it's not a gun problem. It's a mental problem. And these flags were, you know, and we got to take care of it.
I mean, earlier today, we talked about insurance companies that are willing to pay for narcotics and drug people up and ruin their lives, but they're not willing to pay for the true treatment that will help. This is a huge problem with our healthcare system. And one of the things I'm proud about our show for is we're willing to at least talk about these things. And so when I say I applaud you, it's because to ever get help with anything, the first thing you have to just acknowledge is, I'm dealing with this.
Right.
And especially...
But even if it's to hire you, even if I can get insurance, if you know, maybe somebody's agoraphobic and can't go out and their life is turned upside down, maybe it's, why is an insurance company, why won't they pay for somebody like you to come to make my life better? Because that can turn into something else, that can get darker, and then you buy a gun and you go out and you do things because there's nothing in place to get something like what you're doing.
The question I would ask then, and this was an important part of this entire segment to me when we were talking about OCD versus a phobia of germs on your hands. Two very separate things. So yeah, and I think that's really important.
That's
for
why people
watching.
come up to me and they go, I don't like germs either, I got a little bit of OCD. No, you don't have OCD.
Yeah, so,
you just got some germs.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask Gary, and also, Howie, I think if that were something you wanted to overcome, I'm convinced that Gary could help you.
He couldn't, and I could lose my fear of germs. I believe that. And you know, if you could...
Well, that's a huge step, don't you think?
But I'm just saying, yeah, but my OCD will find another thing. I have OCD, and I think it's really important for me to identify that, for me to own that, for me to take care of that, and for me to, you know, there's no stigma involved. I have mental health issues. I have been diagnosed. Even if you're not diagnosed, I believe fully in what you do, and it would be helpful. And I would do it, and I can do it, and I'll talk to you after the show.
Yay!
That's not my only issue.
So here's the deal. Sounds like the two of you might... let's make a deal! How about the two of you...
That's not me, that's Monty Hall. Mine is deal or no deal.
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal?
We work together or not?
Deal.
Work together.
All right.
I love it. Gary, thanks for being here. Howie, loved hanging out with you. And I'm going to tickle you after this segment to see if you're still ticklish.
You're talking to her, not me, right?
Thank you.